Hi everyone, Ms. Pesa here. Today we are going to be working on a very special painting. Our painting is going to be based on these hoodoos found in Bryce Canyon National Park. The hoodoos are these amazing rock formations in somewhat of a spiral shaped formation that goes upward that has resulted from the erosion over the years in the sedimentary rocks. And Bryce Canyon actually has the highest concentration of hoodoos in the whole world. So if you guys take a look at the irregularities of these formations. You can see that some of them are even linked together in between. Some of them are thicker at the top, so it just depends on the actual hoodoo itself. They're very unique and they are very interesting shaped. So the colors are also pretty amazing. Now this is just one of the photographs that I got, but you can see online lots of different images from the hoodoos in national parks, and you can also see the colors that are embedded into the rocks and how they are very unique to each one of the hoodoos. I have this rock here that kind of reminds me of the colors in a hoodoo here. So you can see some of the areas are a lot brighter and some are a lot less intense. So you can kind of notice that in natural formations and rocks and over the years how they result from the minerals and also from the time. And just a little advice here, whenever you guys are out and about and in a field trip and you're kind of seeing the whole scenario, beautiful landscapes, one of the cool things to use is called a viewfinder, and it looks something like this. So you can actually make one from paper. You can cut it out into the shape of a rectangle. You fold it in half, and then you just cut another rectangle right in the middle. Now this is just something useful that you can, or that many artists actually use for their paintings. And there you go, you have a little viewfinder. Now this viewfinder can be used to move around a landscape wherever it is that you're at, and you capture something interesting. So if I move it this way, ooh, what if I just want a painting with that hoodoo in the center? Look at that, that would be a great painting. So you can actually move it around and visualize what, or see what looks good onto your canvas. That is a good image right there too. So you can kind of play around with it. You can have it horizontal, you can have it vertical, whichever way you want. Now, if you don't have one of those, you can place your hand in front of you, facing you, and the other hand facing away from you, just like this. And you have a viewfinder as well, where you can kind of come further away into the distance, and it will give you a pretty good viewfinder there. So there's that too. You can have it vertical or horizontal. All right, so that's just a little tip, you guys. You know, whenever you're out and about, you can carry one of these with you and just kind of see it like a snapshot or a photograph and see, oh, I really like that. I want to have a painting like this. So then this would be transferred onto your canvas. So your canvas then will turn out to be that image that you liked. Now, your painting today, you can have your horizontal view or a vertical view, whichever way you decide. I think I'm going to go for a horizontal view on my painting. So I'm going to place it horizontally in front of me, and my hoodoos are going to be placed going upward. Okay, I'm also going to need some napkins, some water, a plate for mixing, and I like to keep one napkin right underneath my cup so that it's easier for me to wipe my brush as I'm going along. And we're also going to need our primary colors, which are red, yellow, and blue. Okay, these are very important colors because mixtures of these can give us new colors. For instance, the red and the yellow will give us orange. the red and the blue will give us violet, and the yellow and the blue will give us green. Now a mixture of all three primary colors will give us brown, and we're definitely gonna need different tones of browns to create our beautiful hoodoos. So we're also going to be working with some black and some white for our contrasts and also for our lights and darks. Anytime we add white to any color, it makes it light and we tint the color. Anytime we add black to any color, we are shading the color and it makes it dark. Okay, so that's just a little explanation as to how our colors are going to work, and you'll see how we will put them together in order to make our beautiful painting. So let's get started. Oh, and of course you're gonna also need a paintbrush. Okay, so to get started, we're gonna start with the sky, and we're gonna be using some blue for our sky. So for the sky, make sure your brush is nice and clean. We're only gonna dip one into our paint and transfer that over to our mixing tray. But just get about 1 scoop with your paintbrush, okay? Not more than that, because this is going to be diluted with the water really, really well. So all you have to do is get some of that water and make it nice and watery. So we want to have that background nice and light for the sky and watery. So keep adding more water and some more. And some more. Okay, so there we go. Now it's nice and watery, and we can go ahead and start adding it to our sky. Now I like to use sideways strokes for my sky that are going to be from side to side all the way down, and make sure you cover up all those little areas, so white spots. We're going to go about halfway into our canvas using the blue. This is all going to be for the sky area. So as you can see, I'm also getting more of the water and trying to keep my strokes from side to side as I'm going along. You can do some long strokes, some shorter strokes, but try to keep consistency in the brush strokes. So as you can see, guys, I'm just going from side to side, trying to get my whole entire sky area into my painting. And I'm almost there. See, I don't want to go too far down. Otherwise, I'm not going to have enough room for my hoodoos. Just kind of make sure it's nice and watery. Shouldn't be dark at all. So, just to get that nice, soft sky effect. Here we go. All the way to about halfway there. So I think I'm already halfway there. From top to bottom, halfway, about. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I am going to take a piece of napkin, just cut off a small piece and roll it into a little ball, just like this. And now I'm going to try to simulate some clouds by tapping onto my canvas. And you can see how it's removing the excess amount of paint and soaking it up to create these clouds or cloud effects. Here we go. Just kind of randomly go throughout the top area of your canvas, and once you feel you have enough, then you can go ahead and stop right there. So I think I am happy with what I see for my sky. So once you're at this point, we're going to move on to our ground area. So for our next step, we're going to go ahead and start working on the ground area, and for that we're going to be making some brown. So we can use this empty part of our plate here to make some brown. Now brown is a combination of yellow, red, and blue. Now yellow is less dominant, so we're going to use a lot more yellow than the red and the blue. And the red and the blue, as you can see, they're a lot stronger than the yellow. So yellow is brighter, but these two colors here are stronger. Therefore, we need less of these two and more of the yellow. Okay, so what we'll do is we'll start off with the yellow. We're going to use our paintbrush like a little spoon, and we're going to scoop 1, 2, 3 good scoops. Let's do 4, just in case. 4 scoops of the yellow. Make sure you get all that paint on your tray, your paper plate. Wipe it off. Now I'm going to move on to my blue. Just get 1 scoop of blue. Just put it along the side there. Clean my brush. And the red, 1 scoop of the red. I'll put it right there. Okay. So now we have 4 yellow, 1 blue, 1 red. Let's mix those together. And you should get kind of like a brownish. Now this here is a little bit more on the green side. So that means that the blue was a little bit more intense. And it's taking over the red. Therefore, we need a little bit more red in there. So let's clear off our brush. If it looks kind of greenish like mine, just add another scoop of the red. And that should give you a nice brownish tone. And there we go. So let's go ahead and take a look and see. That's pretty, that's a good brown. Okay. So now what we'll do is this brown area here is going to be diluted as well. So just like what we did with the blue. So let's get some of that water and spread it from that line down. Make sure it's nice and watery. And there's your horizon line right there, where the land meets the sky. That would be your horizon right there, okay? Your horizontal line. So now we're just gonna fill in all this area, making sure that it's nice and watery. Now, as you can see, I'm going from side to side. So make sure that your strokes remain sideways all throughout the ground area, just like our sky. So we want to try to keep that consistency with our strokes. There we go. Okay, now we still have some of that brown that we made, and we're going to make it a little darker. So in order to make it a little darker, we're going to add just a tiny bit of black on the side. So now clean my brush there. Just the tip of my brush, not the whole entire brush bristles are going to go inside, but just the tip, because black is pretty dominant and it will take over right away. So here we go. We're going to mix that into part of our brown to get a nice dark brown color. There we go. Now with this brown, I'm going to add a little bit of water. So my dark tone there is gonna go and create some mountains, rocky areas in the background. So I'm gonna make one big rocky area right there and fill it in. So it's looking interesting there. I'm gonna make it a little bit higher there. And right along this area here, I'm gonna make another rocky part. So I'm gonna take a little bit more of the black. And mix it into my brown. Add a little water. And here we go. Now it's going to come and up to the line there. Going to make my horizon line stand out there and fill it in. Nice dark mountains on the background there. Okay. If you notice that it's missing a little bit of paint, you can always go over it so that you don't see that blue from the sky. Sometimes you can actually see it a little, so just get a little bit more paint and cover it up real good. Now notice my strokes, they're nice and soft and short strokes that I'm making. Okay. Now I think I also want to make another one here, but this time I'm going to use my white to tint my brown. So I'm going to get a good scoop of white, put it next to my brown here. Just mix it up to create a nice light brown. I'm going to come in here and make another rocky area right in the front, and we can fill it in. This time we're not going to put water in there, just so we can see the difference between the two. So if I water it down too much, then it's going to end up looking something like the midground here. So I really want that white to stand out. So I'm just going to go ahead and use it directly from my paper plate without dissolving with water. Okay, so now with our brown, we were able to tint it to get our light colored mountain here, and we were able to shade it by adding the black and get our background mountains. So far we have a beautiful setting for our hoodoos, and that's what we'll do next. Alright, now to get started with our hoodoos, we are going to do a mixture of brown again. You still might have some, but I'm going to mix a little bit more because I'm going to do a variation of browns. So I already have that one there. I'll just mix it here in this other blank space on my tray, and I'll get 1, 2, 3 good, maybe 4 good dips of that yellow. Make sure that that excess amount of paint goes on your plate. There we go. Now I'm going to get some of the red. And for the red, I'm just going to dip it in once. One good dip. And the blue will also be one good dip. Let's mix it together. And again, it looks kind of greenish. Could put some more red so that my brown can start coming up. So let's add a little bit more red in there. And there we go. Now I have a good tone of brown to work with. Now I am going to add a little bit of black. So I want some dark browns. But remember that the black is just so dominant. Okay, so just gonna tap my brush on the towel, get a tiny bit, just like the tip of my brush. And get a little dark section here. So I have some dark brown there I can use. Okay. Now I also want to get some other tones going on in there, so I'm going to also get some white, just like what we did over here. But this time I'm not going to dissolve it with the water. So here's some white. There's my light brown. And now I'm going to also make some orange. So for that, I'm going to need a combination of the yellow and the red. So some yellow, let's do 1, 2 of the yellow, and just 1 of the red. And so I have some orange now. So I'm trying to come up with a variety of earthy colors here that are going to help me make my shapes for my hoodoos. Okay, now I think I want to add some other color there to change the brown. So I think I want a brick red in here. So I'm going to add some of the red into my brown. And now I have like a brick red right there. Now here I also want to add maybe some yellow to my brick red. Whoa. And see what happens. It'll still be kind of orangey, but more on the brown side, like a mustard color. There we go. So it's not quite as deep in tone as it is with the orange that we made here. So these are the different colors that I can use now for my hoodoos. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to start off with my dark brown here. And I'll start off by making an oval. So once you have all your different variations of browns here, you're happy with the different colors that you came up with, let's go ahead and start making our hoodoo. So mine is going to start right here. Okay, so towards the bottom, this is going to be a pretty big one because it's closer to us since it's on this closer mountain here or rocky area. So there we go. Fill it in. It's kind of like an oval shape, but remember the hoodoos are very irregular. Let's take a look at the hoodoos once again. So sometimes they get thinner at the top, sometimes they're thick at the top, sometimes they're linked together. Okay, So there's a good variation of hoodoos that we can try out. And you guys can also practice with yours. You don't necessarily have to follow exactly what I do, as long as you try your best. That's all that matters. So now I'm going to go over to another tone here of my brown, and I'll just use this brown here. And right above it, I'm going to make another irregular little oval shape and kind of blend it into my previous one. Blend, blend, blend. Blending is very important in art. Okay, there we go. And now I'm going to wipe my brush, go on to a different color. I don't know, maybe I want to use red. Just depends on the color that you want next. So now I'm going to do this little section here. Blend, blend, blend. Right in the middle here. And wipe my brush. Now I'm going to move on to some orange. Make another little section there. Blend, blend, blend with the red. And it's missing a little bit of orange there. Ooh, got gunks of orange. There we go. And wipe my brush. Maybe I want to repeat my color. Maybe I want this brown here. So it just depends on you. And I want to make it a little bit thicker up here. So I'm going to use a lighter color. This particular hoodoo is larger in this area here. So I'm going to just bring out this section and make it grow sideways. Look at that. And make sure you blend, blend, blend. So as you go along, you can just be wiping your brush if you have excess amounts of paints. And then I'm going to use some white for my top. And blend, blend, blend. And maybe a little bit of that brown there. I like that mustardy color there. And so there we go. There's my first hoodoo right there. Interesting. Very interesting shaped hoodoo. All right. So for my next one, I'm going to do the same thing. Except that maybe I'm going to start it off in this area. You can start it in the distance. If you go back far here, the hoodoos are going to be smaller because they're farther away. So I'm going to start off with maybe some dark brown. If you run out, just make some more. I'm going to make my next one right here. So kind of like an oval shape, a regular oval. Doesn't have to be a perfect oval. And let's go ahead and move on to the next color. You decide which one it is. And blend, blend, blend. Right in between. Wipe. Next color. Make it go upward as you're going along. This one's going to be here. Blend, blend, blend. Right in between. Wipe. I think I like this red for the next one. Blend, blend, blend. Right in between. Oh, I don't know, maybe, oh, you know what? I want some regular yellow. How about some yellow? Blend, 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 right in between. And wipe. And how about some of that lighter one there? There we go. And blend it in. There we go. Okay, so there's my next hoodoo. That one seems to be a little tilted to the side. That's okay. And I could actually even add another hoodoo so I can connect it right here. That would be cool. So let's try it out. Now I'm gonna get a little bit more black. I'm running out of the dark brown right there. So just a little tiny bit of black. and mix it into my brown. Remember, if you run out of your colors, you can always go back and make some more. So I'm just made some black there. I'm going to put it right next to my previous one there, because they're going to be kind of connected. So I'm going to blend in between. Wipe. And go on to your next color. Let's try some brown. And blend, blend, blend. And then maybe some of the reddish. You blend, blend, blend. Notice how I'm not using any water on these. Okay. Got some yellow here. I'm going to use that yellow. Blend into the red. And I think I'm going to go with that light brown here. And blend, blend, blend in between. There we go. So now these two hoodoos seem to be connected in the center here. You can just blend them in, play around with the blending, and there we go. Okay, so now I think I want to have some hoodoos back here. So it just depends on you and where it is that you want to place them. So same idea, start off with your dark color and go on from there. So about some of that, blend it in, wipe. How about some of this kind of mustardy, blend it in. Some of that red, brick red tone there, that's a nice one. And let's keep going from there. How about some of that yellow? And just up here, I'm going to just make a little bit. There we go. And can wipe it off. We can make some more. Now, if we make some in the distance, we can make them even smaller. So this one's going to be a lot smaller. Okay, and how about one right there? It's really far away. So as we get closer to the horizon line, our objects tend to look a lot smaller because they are further away from us. And there we go. Now I really want to make this one larger at the top, so I really want to have all this area here a little thicker. Seems like this one just kind of outgrew the rest of it. So I'm just going to kind of make this hoodoo really thick at the top. I think I like that better. So you kind of play around with your shapes. Remember, they're very irregular. So whatever kind of goes well with what you're looking at, your eye, what it is that you like, makes it more interesting to you, that's what you go for. Okay, so there we go, and now we have our beautiful hoodoos in place in our beautiful background. That's a great representation of our hoodoo painting. Could kind of go back and give it some touches here and there, a little bit more depends on you. Okay, little highlights here and there. And there we go. We're all set. So I think I'm going to stop right here. I don't want to add too many hoodoos, otherwise it's just going to throw off my balance in my painting. So I think I'm happy with what I see. So there we go. I really hope you guys enjoyed this lesson. Thank you so much. And I'll see you guys around. Thank you.